It's a beautiful day over here at EGFH. My name is Slater, and with me in the casting booth is the legendary, very famous soy sauce. And soy, we're gonna be starting off with a bit of a fun stream today. The first matchup is gonna be Rockford Rams going up against Westminster Owls. Now, soy, this is not your normal matchup. It's gonna be a 2v2. That's right. Here on the EGFS stream, we are going to be having a 2v2. Why, you may ask? Well, Westminster, one of the players for Westminster were not available, so they had to forfeit. But we can't just let our viewers hanging, right? We got to bring in some entertainment. So 2v2, here we go. It's going to be a lot of fun. So
yeah, it's going to be a lot of fun. And these two schools, I mean, they're pretty big here in the EGFH. So to see 2v2, we get to really see some talent take to the pitch. And now with the 2v2, you get so much more space to work with. We get to really see the mechanics come through for these players. It's going to be real fun to see.
Absolutely. A lot of fun. You said it yourself. And of course, Soy, we have not casted a 2v2 in a long time.
This would be my first time.
That has to be the first time, yeah.
Yeah, I've never casted a 2v2 match before, so this will be interesting to see.
Most definitely interesting. I mean, what are you expecting here? Do we see Westminster coming out on top? They are going to be the ones taking a loss here, and Rockford Rams will be moving ahead with that one-win spot. But if Westminster takes it, that's going to be a bit of a statement.
Yeah, I know. It'd be interesting to see. I think Rockford at least coming into this week, Rockford were the favorites for the 3v3 matchup. They had, I believe, a record of 2-1 coming into this week, and Westminster only one match played so far, and it was a loss in that opening week to I believe it was the Pensacola Sour Limes, who are pretty consistent here at EGFH, hanging around that top 8 of the standings normally when it comes to the overall of the league. So it's been a little bit rougher of a start, but certainly a squad that was atop their pool last season just couldn't quite finish it out when the postseason came around. So we'll have to see when these teams take to the pitch, who ends up actually playing, who ends up starting here in this 2v2, and who can come out on top. I don't know who's going to start or who's going to play, but I think you have to give a little bit of an edge to Rockford in this 2v2.
Absolutely. I mean, over here at EGFH, Rockford Rams have been one of the most dominating forces. So going into this one, Westminster High School, they'll have to work twice as hard. But do not forget, this is not your normal 3v3 game mode. That's not where Rockford Rams have made hours and hours of scrim effort. So it's going to be totally different. And Owls have a pretty good chance of taking this one home.
And it'll be interesting to watch kind of the dynamics between players, right? Because when you have that 3v3 chemistry, right, you just kind of get into that mindset of, all right, this is the rotation, this is where I've got to be. And you get a very good sense of how your teammates, what they want to do with the ball in certain situations. In 2v2, it gets a little bit skewed, right? Because you're constantly working with one specific teammate who may or may not do certain aspects of the game, or may change up their game style depending on a situation. You really have to be on point with your communication because you've got so much of the pitch to cover here. As it's going to be Bolte in here, but they're not going to be able to find one touch here. Turtle will move this ball forward. He's looking for the follow-up off the backboard, but he gets demoed instead, and the ball will roll to the blue half.
And Soy Sauce, correct me if I'm wrong, but am I seeing 3 orange cards on the field here?
I'm so disappointed. It's going to be the power play all game for Rockford. I thought we were seeing the 2v2, but instead it's going to be Burgee Jr. on the dribble here. Burgee Jr. was so good last season. I think you and I had a couple of games for Rockford where Burgee Jr. was really the playmaker, the go-to guy when Rockford needed offense. It was Burgee Jr. who was the player pushing the pace for this squad.
Absolutely. I remember speaking that name out loud multiple times. It was Burgee in the crowd. It was Burgee in the casting booth. That guy has been one of the most powerful forces on the offensive side for Rockford Rams. And here he was again with a bit of a shot on target. But Turtle might just be walking away with a 2v3 goal here coming in for Owls. It's Turtle dribbling, breaking ankles left, right, and center and getting the first goal for Westminster Owls.
Oh, so well done there. Like you said, the dribble was perfect. The flick over the defenders was there, and they were able to get that last finishing touch past the defender. And it never feels good giving up a goal when you're down a full player here. So Rockford, they're going to have to rebound here, but that's the key in these matchups. You can't afford to give the two players space, because if they beat 2 defenders, all of a sudden you're at even strength and you can create some odd man rushes. the control of where they are on the pitch has to be perfect as that first shot from Burgee goes wide.
Opportunities for Rockford Rams have been present, but so far haven't been able to convert many of those. We see Westminster Owls walking away with the ball most of the times here, as we see Burgee Jr. trying to put in the shot on target. And the ultimate power play here would be to go for the demos, and of course nobody's stopping them from doing it, and some bumps are coming through, and that might just be the first sign of an opportunity for a goal taken away from Rockford Rams as Westminster Owls head right onto the offensive side. There's a shot on target. Burgee doesn't have it, and Westminster Owls have just gone up by 2.
And again, they find the pockets here. Everyone is back for the side of Rockford, and Ricochet just launches one just barely over top of that one player. Not sure who it was up in the air, but even the last man back took too long to get the corner boost and just can't make it back to the net in time. And so all of a sudden, the Owls have struck twice here, and we're not even halfway through the game. Rockford's still able to generate some good chances, maybe one off the rebound here, but the communication here between Turtle and Ricochet, they are constantly in good positioning, covering for each other, and they're able to find these pockets defensively to clear this ball out and give their offense a chance to go to work.
Half the game remaining here, soy sauce, this is pretty cool, right? Westminster Owls, they're up by 2 in a 2v3 position, and it seems like, they're following it up with most of the possession on the field. Rockford Rams, what kind of response should they be looking for here?
Well, you got to find a way to burn through, I think, the boost that Westminster has. The Owls just continually are able to find some of these clears. That's a giveaway in the mid, but it's going to be stopped and blocked out. And that one will be transitioned forward now. Maybe something off the wall here, but Ricochet gets back and demos Burgee Jr. even gets a bump as well. And that's so much pressure relieved. The Owls defense is just so strong and so good at finding the open areas right now to at least get the ball out of their own half, and they've got boosts to work with too. So good at kind of tracking down where to be on the field. Rockford's got to find a way to disrupt this rotation, to get a bump or demo or something along the lines, because the Westminster Owls defense is just too comfortable right now.
And, there are so many factors at play here. Of course, playing up against a 3v3 team is not a 3v2 team. 3v2 format is not Rockford Rams' cup of tea, because, of course, nobody usually practices for such a situation. But even then, no demos so far coming in from Rockford Rams here. Trying to keep up that sportsmanship. We'll have to see it. A few bumps here and there, but not affecting both of the players from the Owl side. 45 seconds remaining here. Rockford Rams might just find their very first opportunity. Bulty sends it a little too wide, and with 39 seconds remaining, Owls are still up by 2.
Was looking for the infield pass there, but no one was able to follow up. But maybe now the air dribble. Ricochet with the goal line save. Burgee's going to go back up for it. Trying to force Turtle up, does get one to bite, but Ricochet is there again to respond. He's got minimal boost in the tank here. He's just trying to buy time in this corner. He gets the corner boost, and that allows him to dive in front. I think he got a piece of that shot too, so back-to-back saves from Ricochet. Ricochet's defense, absurd here. We're going to have to check the save column, because they might walk away with that shutout unless this one goes in, but it's cleared away once more, and game 1 is going to the Owls.
Ain't no way, soy sauce. We just witnessed a 2v3 with the squad with a lower amount of player count coming out on top. Even as a caster, I'm at a loss of words. How does this even make sense? Rockford Rams. I was not ready for this. The players were not ready for this. The viewers were not ready for this.
It is something else entirely to see, right? Because, again, you're down a full player, right? There should be such a huge advantage here for Rockford, but Westminster's making it work. And I think that's the big thing, right? Is that you're constantly going to be under pressure defensively. That's just the nature of a 2v3. It's like being, a man down in any sport. You've got to find a way to kind of stall out the clock. And sometimes you get those shorthanded opportunities, in Westminster just the control that they had and the positioning. How many times did Ricochet and Turtle bail each other out defensively, right? One player goes up for the challenge, and even though the offense has so much space to work with, they're going to beat that first player. That commitment to the play allows the second man to respond quickly. And that first player knows once they get beat, they have to rotate back out, and they're able to make the play defensively and stall out Rockford. An offense that has rarely ever been shut out gets shut out here.
And I believe we are getting news that is the only match we're going to be having, the only game that we're going to be having for this series. The next match is going to be after a bit of a short break, but the end result is going to be Rockford Rams going up 3-0 in this series, as we see on the scoreboard. But Westminster Owls, once again, you know what? I can't believe this. I can't believe this. It was an amazing 5-minute match we had here. We'll be back very soon with some 3v3 Rocket League this time around, so stay tuned. Don't go anywhere. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the EGFS stream. You know, we had a bit of a long break and a very fun last matchup, I have to say. One of the more memorable series that we had earlier. But moving on to some more serious and more competitive Rocket League, it's gonna be Lebanon High School going up against Belleville High. Buccaneers going up against the Blue Devil Syndicate. Soy, tell me something about these teams.
I mean, this is going to be a really interesting kind of benchmark match for both of these teams. It's still very early on in the season, but these two teams in particular, we haven't seen a lot from them, and it's hard to judge where exactly they are in the standings. Lebanon, for example, they have not really played a game on stream. Week 1, they had a bye, and week 2, they haven't had the chance to submit those the results of that match yet. So as far as we know, this is going to be their first real match, and it's going to be on stream against the Belleville squad that is, I believe, 1-0 so far. Yeah, only played one match so far. They had also they had a bye week in week 2, and then they went in week 1 against STEM Phoenix, 3-0ing them. So Belleville got off to a hot start, but again, we're not really sure where STEM Phoenix sits in the standings because it's only been 2 weeks for them. So really, this is the huge game for both of these teams, that benchmark of, okay, can we get the edge on someone in this pool? Can we start to climb up in those standings? This is a huge game for both these teams.
Yeah, absolutely, I agree. And these are some of the more exciting matches where we do not know who's going to be coming out on top, where we do not know who has had the edge in the earlier games. We're going into this one not knowing anything, not knowing much about these teams heading into the season. Basically, some brand new names ahead of you here. Belleville High going up against Lebanon Heights, the Buccaneers going up against the Blue Devil Syndicate. I mean, okay, so back when you were in high school, have you had such a cool mascot?
The high school I went to was the Crusaders, and I think that name has changed by now. So we had it was a different time though, and the Buccaneers and Blue Devils though is such a fun kind of ring to it, especially when you got the alliteration of the Belleville Buccaneers going on. I mean, it's going to be interesting to see too. Also, I think these are two relatively newer schools to EGFH, not a whole lot of history to them. So to see them go against each other here, it's like the start of a rivalry of sorts.
Here we go, the start of a rivalry. First game here in this best of 5 series. LHS, as we see, Lebanon High School going up against the Belleville Buccaneers. As we head on right in this game, first 15 seconds in, it's the Buccaneers applying a lot of pressure here in the early parts of this game. Zombie Slayer on the ball, sends it right back onto the other side. This Mega Mongoose getting a really good 50 down center opportunity for LHS to put in a shot on target, but a double commit prevents it from happening. And it's the Buccaneers back on offense.
Doing a start here. Some decent pressure offensively, centering ball, but Mega Mongoose is going to be able to block that one out and get the dunk. It's going to be dangerous down in front. Do they find the touch? No. Too many defenders in the way. Sloth Knight, not going to be able to make a play off the wall there. Hero of Lions trying to move this ball forward. And the Lebanon Blue Devils, I remember them from the last season, that last split. They were a team that was certainly worth noting. They were able to get some upsets here and there in the standings. But when it came to that postseason run, their pool was just so difficult to walk through. And Hero of Lions was such a huge part of that run in the first place. So we'll have to see if they can continue to make a run here. But it's going to be Belleville striking first, and it's Zombie Slayer from a distance putting the first one on the board.
And you know, that was after such a long amount of LHS spending time on the offensive side. But it is the Buccaneers scoring the very first goal. Minute and 20 seconds into this game, Buccaneers up by 1. But you know, LHS, looking at the kind of offense that they've presented to us so far, I'm very confident in this team's ability to take this lead right back.
Yeah, good, decent pressure so far, as that one's going to bounce over top, and Mega Mongoose going to have to bail them out. Like what we've seen from Mega Mongoose, you know, taking their time, gathering up possession, and then getting these good, powerful touches to help get the Blue Devils offense rolling. Hero of Lions trying to move that ball forward, but Zombie Slayer off the bicycle kick will stop that attempt for a moment. Flames Kai will move this ball forward once more. Kicks it harsh off of the corner, and wow, what a dunk in. Juan Holes, or who else, is going to be able to put in goal number 2 here with just over 3 minutes remaining. What a kick out off the corner that was.
And soy sauce, this has been interesting for such a long amount of time. We see LHS spending majority of their time on the offensive side, but you know, Buccaneers, they come in, they take possession, and they send it right onto the back of the blue net. It is so interesting to see that a team of this caliber has such an amazing counter-attacking resilience so far. It's Juan Wells once again off the bar, an opportunity for a shot taken away as they hit the bar yet again. As we're just about ready to hit the half-game marker, Buccaneers continue to maintain that 2-goal lead.
Juan who else is going to be able to move that ball forward too. Sloth Knight though inside the box with a decent aerial to get that one out of harm's way. Only for a moment though, quickly moved back in. And Lebanon's defense has been caught out a couple of times. Like you said, that counterattack game that Belleville has played has come to some early fruition here. With just over 2 minutes now remaining, Zombie Slayer up for that one, but Sloth Knight able to get the challenge. And we can see that, you know, mechanically, Lebanon's got the skill to combat Belleville, especially when it comes to reading those aerial 50s. But their offense just has not found a way to get that high-quality chance on target.
Not yet, it hasn't, but, you know, LHS, they have pounced on the ball multiple times now, winning 50s here and there, but not getting those finisher touches. And that is what has resulted in such a scoreline. It's Hero of Lions in possession of the ball, trying to get that 50 going, but that is going in a very bad direction there. Flames finds the 3rd goal for BHS.
Flames Kai just barely wins the race to this ball. If they were a second late, they would have been dunked and it would have been off target. But the challenge is just perfectly placed to the back post, and Sloth Knight, you saw him try and hustle back to make that play, but he just can't get there in time. And all of a sudden, Belleville, with under a minute 30 now at 1:20 on the clock, has a 3-goal lead. And it feels like it's been a minute now since we've seen that offense that Lebanon had in the early goings of this match.
Yeah, we do. It has been a bit of a stalemate here. Coming in from the Lebanon side, BHS have had possession for majority of the time now, and they have been quick on their toes to maintaining these counterattacks frequencies as they head on right into yet another one of those. We got Flames on the ball, looking to get this pass down center. Mega Mongoose not getting a touch on it immediately. It's Sloth on Knight over to Mega. And just this passing play is not enough to get the ball out of their own half. It results in yet another goal for the Buccaneers, who are now up by 4.
Juan, who else is going to get this one here just off the dunk? And Hero of Lions thinks that touch is going to come through, but just can't get enough of a clean touch on that ball inside the box. And it ends up going in off the post. And Belleville extend their lead. And the Blue Devils here, or Blue Devil Syndicate, oh, is that one going to be in? Well, Han, who else is going to be inside the box to dunk that one in off of a real strange kick out here? Flames' shot off target, but it forces the defender to bite, and it kicks out the rebound off of the defender's car, off the crossbar, and it's an easy follow-up, and all of a sudden, what felt like a very close game one has started to spiral into a 5-goal deficit for Lebanon.
A 5-goal deficit. Soy, how did this result come through in these last 4 minutes? It's Buccaneers spending most of the time on the offensive side now, and they've had LHS's number in the last 4 minutes. Let's see if they're able to bring this one home. And I mean, some kind of momentum shift needs to be here, right? Lebanon High haven't been able to make a lot of contact with the ball in these last few minutes, and they really need a shift of pace here.
Yeah, they're going to have to make some major adjustments headed into game number 2, because that offense that was able to generate some chances early on, the second half of that game was just completely shut down. And I think the biggest thing was that Belleville in this series, you saw them just continually attack the net, but they started to get 50s and started to get really aggressive. I mean, it was few and far between that we saw a player for Belleville all the way back in their own back third. They were pressing all 3 members constantly in that attacking half. No one really leaving that midfield line except for maybe to grab the mid boost. So that aggression, I think, really caught Lebanon off guard in the second half of that game.
Yeah, and it's really interesting to see that Lebanon coming into this one with so much valor and so much thirst to score shots on target. The tables just turned 180 degrees. They flipped around, and it's Belleville High coming out on top as we head on into the second game of this best of 5 series. Let's see what Lebanon High have to offer.
And we see a little bit of a substitution. It's, oh my goodness, Mega Mongoose nearly with the early goal. And Flames backtracking there, but he is able to kick that one out for the moment. Substitution coming in for the side of Belleville. It's Quinn going to be making an appearance here. So first time they'll get to see some action in this series. Flames will be paired with them along with Juan, who else? But it's going to be Mega Mongoose who gets the first goal for the Blue Devils here in game number 2, almost 30 seconds into the match.
30 seconds in, it's LHS coming out on top here with the very first goal, going to the Lebanon High, and this is exactly the kind of momentum shift they needed. This is what they needed, a breather. Getting into the second game now, they have some momentum to work with. Let's see if they're able to pull through for the rest of the minute.
That early goal can mean so much for a team's momentum and confidence. And it felt like after a confident start for Lebanon, getting some offensive chances, they then could not make the adjustments at the end of that first game. To come out here with a goal could mean everything. Look at Mega Mongoose on the play here off the wall, trying to do all the work by themselves, and they nearly found a second one, but oh no, Juan, who else is going to get the goal here? What a shot this was, if only it was on the opponent's net, and you got to feel bad for Sloth Knight in that situation.
I mean, it was a pretty good shot, if I'm being perfectly honest. The accuracy on that shot, really something to note here. Unfortunately, not in the right direction, but a shot nonetheless, as Buccaneers tying this game up. 1-1 being the current scoreline. BHS have possession. It's Squinks up with the ball. Double touch opportunity. Flames, he was trying something real fancy there, trying to pinch that one into the back of the net. Unfortunately, couldn't go through it. Sloth Knight once again back in possession in the orange corner. Pass 2, no boost to work with, still manages to pinch it off the ceiling. Mega Mongoose could not make it there in time, and BHS looked to head right under the offensive side, but Lions has something to say about it.
They're going to be stuffed out by Juan, who else? And Juan has been relatively quiet, does have the equalizing goal here off of that miscue defensively from Lebanon, but other than that, he's been mostly relegated to this backline duty, but he can't make the save here. Sloth Knight is going to put in goal number 2 here, and the give and go from the Lebanon Blue Devils was beautiful to create this opportunity.
Would you look at that? It's LHS taking the 1-goal lead right back into their own hands. And you love to see this kind of resilience. The first game was a little rough, 5-goal lead, but now coming out on top here, trying to secure that insurance goal. It's Flames in possession, not for long though. It's Mega Mongoose, steps in, gets it past 2. It's an opportunity for a pass, but it goes wide. Sloth Knight couldn't slot it into the back of the net, not yet. Mega Mongoose makes a play for the offensive touch, the counter-attack. Now from BHS, Mega Mongoose once again on the ball. Great save. He needs to make a second one. What a shot coming in from It's Quings, flying in the air with a bullet of a shot on target, and BHS tied back up.
You see the double commit come through there, but it's not all of that much consequence. It's just the kick out of where that rebound goes right to Quinex, and he's able to slot in a beautiful shot. Even though the defense is there, it's such a harsh read at that pace to track that ball down into the upper third. Very well done here by Belleville. And somehow, some way, Belleville is finding ways to respond. Every time you think Lebanon's made that play to give themselves the lead, to give themselves the advantage, Belleville's able to answer right back. They might have something here off the air dribble. It's going to get centered, but it's going to be cleared away by Mega Mongoose.
Whew, well, 2 goals, 2 all once again. Soy Sauce, you have to applaud the kind of skill that both of these teams possess, tying it back up again and again as we head into the later half of this game. It's BHS looking to take that lead into their own hands, and so far the pattern as it has gone, it's LHS taking the next goal, with BHS seem to be the ones in charge at the moment. Flames Kai takes the ball up high here. The second touch off the corner will come through. The pass. Quings is not ready to make it into the back of the net. LHS are still looking to get out of their own half, while the Buccaneers have something to say about that.
It's just so interesting to see these two teams as Hero of Lions just to bail out his defense there off of the miscue. Quinn on the air dribble. Does he have the angle to cut it back? Not enough time. Mega Mongoose gets up into the air to shut that play down. Sloth Knight is up for this one. Quinn looking for the double tap, nearly found it, and everyone was expecting the touch to come through. It's a whiff along the back line. Mega Mongoose with no boost. Can he get there? Got the flip reset, but Sloth Knight will tap it in instead, and Lebanon take the lead with 53 seconds remaining.
Whew. The pattern goes through. The pattern continues. Soy Sauce, LHS take that 1-goal lead right back into their own hands. 53 seconds. Buccaneers, plenty of time to continue the pattern, but LHS, they really need this. They really need this game. They've been playing phenomenally, and taking this one home is the finisher step of moving further in this best of 5 series. It's Mongoose putting a shot on target. Flame Sky's bicycle hit into the orange corner, wasting a lot of time here. LHS spending most of their time in the offensive side. 30 seconds. One needs to make a play, but the pinch goes to the orange net. Flame Sky ready for it. Mega Mongoose punches on it again. Shot opportunity for Lions as Mega picks this one up off the sidewall. Who's gonna be the first one? It's Quinks on the ball. Off the ceiling, shot opportunity denied by the lack of boost, but there it is. The pass coming in from, I believe it was a blue card. No, it was one who made the touch, and a great pass coming in from him is BHS tying it all up.
I said earlier in this game that it felt like he was rather quiet, even though his 1 goal on the board was he was the benefactor of that own goal early on. hadn't been able to do too much, but finally he finds his moment to strike, and he feeds Quinn to make it a tie game once more. And now we're on the verge of overtime as the ball touches the ground. There it is, our first overtime of the day. And Belleville, they get this one. They're going to be on match point. Lebanon trying to tie this series.
Okay.
What?
Well then, that's a quick way to agree to the caster's curse. I mean, it's not even a cast, it's the opposite of that. LHS, great simple 50 here off the backboard. Mega Mongoose puts this one in, slots it away, and it's LHS going up in this game in that overtime. Final goal going their way, and soy sauce. We're at a tie series now.
A tied series at 1 apiece, and what's odd is that it felt like Belleville, when you look at the quality of chances they had, they were such high quality that you felt like, okay, the Buccaneers, surely they find another one here. They found a way to respond every single time, right? And yet Lebanon just continued to put all in the back of the net. They just continue to find ways to do it, and they're attacking in multiple different facets. But the biggest thing, I think, is that they've responded to that aggression, right? It's no longer that counterattack that was working for Belleville. Belleville is finding ways to kind of get their offense set up offensively and go for those air dribbles. Quinn in particular, slowing the pace down, forcing those mechanical touches to come through. Lebanon offensively, they're just jumping on everything, it feels like, and all of a sudden, it's a very even match between these two as we get ready for game number 3.
Game number 3, heading right into it, 20 seconds in, and both of these teams, they are so quick to go for these offensive plays, not reactive. It is just a lot of offensive pressure coming in from both sides, and this time it's Buccaneers starting us off stronger with its Squings, who has been a bit of a pop-off recently, going up once again in the air with a shot on target. Hero of Lions really close to having a touch on that one, but not enough to get the save.
Remember, they did not play in game number 1. They subbed in for game number 2, and they have filled the role quite well, to say the least. They are really strong on this aerial game, finding these great touches, getting these great feeds into his teammates, and even had a couple of goals to his name. Is that one on target, though? No. Now it's Lebanon on the counterattack. Mega Mongoose can't find the touch, and Quinn will help bail their team out. Slothnick gets bumped off the ball as well, and Mega Mongoose will have to backtrack here as a minute into the action, Belleville hold the 1-goal lead, and their offense looks to get going once more. Zombie Slayer looking to feed his teammate, but it's just too far away. Mega Mongoose will get the 50 as well. Hoping to get the Blue Devils offense rolling here, but what a touch there. That was Quinn again. And look at Quinn just being everywhere all at once. It feels like they're playing the Troy Polamalu style, just running rampant around the field. Everywhere the ball is, they are chasing it down.
That they are, and so far it has been a wonderful time here for Buccaneers. They managed to keep LHS at 0 for the last 90 seconds, and they look to continue it once again. Ooh, opportunity missed there. Buccaneers could have gone up by 2, but a Sloth Knight sending it on to the counter-attacking side. Flame Sky, he gets it past 1, has enough boost for the second touch, but could not make it at the ball there. Off the backboard, opportunity for its Squings to pinch it to the other side. Oh no, my god, this could go in. Very close. Zombie Slayer could not finish that touch, but it's BHS still managing to apply so much pressure. It's only a matter of time. LHS run out of boost, and they need to make a save, which they can. It's Zombie Slayer on the ball, trying to get the shot on target, but Mega Mongoose comes in with a save.
Approaching that halfway mark, and Belleville still hold the 1-goal lead. Another kind of rotation coming through. We mentioned how Quinn subbed in after game number 1. Zombie Slayer is back into the lineup. They might have a goal here from distance, but it's not on target. Mega Mongoose to block that one out. But, you mentioned kind of midway through game 2, both of these teams were starting to really find success and, find ways to respond to each other. And I think that's, once again, kind of the key here in this series, that both of these teams are so resilient. They just continue to give it their all. Even when things go wrong, they quickly respond. They find answers, and there's no quit in either of these teams. They both want this series so badly. But right now, it is Belleville with the lead. So the pressure is on Lebanon to make a play. And right now, they can't get the ball out of the blue half.
Oh, that they can. Hero points. What a save there at the back of the net. Really close, but saves are not enough to make that 0-1. You gotta start heading onto the offensive side, and you gotta start making some offensive plays. Seems like BHS, they have something else in mind. They have been denying these opportunities for the longest period. 4 minutes gone, almost 4 minutes gone, without even a single goal scored. Zombie Slayer looking to get this out of his own half. Oh, what a pinch with Quings, who's off the ball once again, and this position has been scary before, but Hero of Lions comes in with a demo, and the save coming in from Sloth Knight is going to result in LHS still only being down by 1. This Quings off the sidewall. Oh my god, this guy, whenever he goes up in the air, I believe LHS, it's just emergency situations all the way through. You gotta be on your toes all the time.
It feels like Quinn on those air dribbles is just one touch away from scoring, but just can't quite find that finishing touch quite yet. Flames is up. Zombie Slayer doesn't find a touch yet, but look who else. Quinn coming back, making the play here, and denying that potential counterattack opportunity. Zombies passes into the midfield, but Mega Mongoose will clear it away. With 40 seconds remaining here, Lebanon are going to be forced back to the defensive side off that air dribble. Mega Mongoose gets another booming clear, but they got to win a 50 here somewhere. They might have found their opportunity high off the backboard. No one's up for it, but everyone was too far forward for Lebanon. Sloth Knight gets the touch. It's going to be a centered ball. They don't find the bump on the Flames, and the clock is ticking away now, and maybe Flames can go the other way with it.
Oh, Mega Mongoose, that was a pretty risky clear, but he made it work. He gets it past 1, but the second touch not enough to go past Zombie. Was putting this one down center. Flames Kai picking this one up, getting it past 1, and the ball still around in the blue corner as it hits the ground at 0 second, and it's the Bucks taking game number 3 here in the Best of 5 series.
And now they're on to match point too. I mean, 2-1 now in that series scoreline. Belleville. Again, I go back to what happened in game number 2, where it felt like Belleville, the opportunities they had to score were just such higher quality. And it's off of Quinn's air dribbles. It's off of Zombie Slayer finding these, fantastic passing lanes. They just manage space so well. Even the pinch play that didn't go in, it just forces everyone on Lebanon to go all the way back to their own back third defensively. And then once Lebanon gains possession and wants to start up their offense, they got to work from their own goal line basically to then get that ball down the field. And you see a couple of times Lebanon is able to just boom that ball downfield, power clear it out of their own zone, but that just gives possession right back to Belleville. They've got to find a way to get in front of Belleville's defense, and that's very difficult to do right now.
And what has worked in the past is going in supersonic, you blow up the car, you get space, you score goals. That's usually how I try to play this game when things don't go my way. And maybe LHS could take a bite off that strategy and try to get that implemented in this future game. Otherwise, Belleville, if they continue to apply such kind of pressure, they'll be walking away with this one. Match point once again for Belleville High School.
But that physicality that you're talking about is easier said than done, especially with the way that Belleville is air dribbling. Like, that is so difficult to track them down once they're already in the air with the ball on the hood of their car. Quinn, I mean, again, how many times does it feel like Quinn is up in the air, not only denying those booming clears, but just on the air dribble attacks? And it uses a lot of boost. It forces the defense to use a lot of their boost to go up and make that save. But on top of that, it's hard to track them down once they've fallen. You want to demo the player who's already passed the ball? No, you want to get the next guy in that rotation. So it's a really difficult game for Lebanon to play, but one that they have to if they want to bring this series back.
Absolutely. Now, once again, here we go. It's BHS on the goal line, trying to make something work. Oh my god, what a pinch right here in front of the orange net and throwing the offense off guard, and that is what's get them right back on the offensive side. Zombie Slayer trying to 50 this one into the back of the net, not making it happen. It's Ghost getting the save, and I believe Ghost is a bit of a sub here coming in from LHS.
Yeah, lots of substitutions being made. Like you said, now Ghost subbing in for the side of Lebanon. First time we've seen a sub from the blue side, by the way. So Ghost stepping in at a really critical moment, and he can't find the critical save here. Zombie Slayer's in the right place at the right time off this pass. Sloth Knight tried to get in front of that one, but it ends up teeing it up for Zombie Slayer, and the bounce shot mix-up to get underneath the defender, so well done, and it gives Belleville the early lead.
1 minute in, a 1-goal lead for the Buccaneers, who are looking to close this one out. Once again, Buccaneers match point here, so Lebanon, it all comes down to this, have to go in to the 5th gear to get this ball rolling onto the orange side. That's a bit of an opportunity coming in from Mongoose, but Quinks comes in with a quick save, followed up by more and more clears on the orange side, and finally breaking through, heading into the offense is Flames Kai. Could not make the second touch. Mega Mongoose gets a bit of a clear, and it's LHS back with the possession.
Mega Mongoose will bump that one away, though. Just trying to get it out of the defensive half, and it's just too far. They're trying to not only get these booming clears, but you can see Lebanon try and kind of spring that player, get that extra member moving up the field so that when the booming clear comes through, they don't have to follow it up too as well. There's already a player trying to get that next 50. But it forces, one player back to make saves like this. What a goal line stand there from Ghost Dash, and what a save. And that one keeps this game in a 1-0 scoreline. But look at this, Belleville not done. The feed is there for Flames Kai, but he can't find the contact. Zombie Slayer, that one's fast off the backboard. And Sloth Knight will not be able to find a touch. Mega Mongoose from distance on target. Flames Kai makes the save, and Zombie Slayer will clear that one away. And as we pass that halfway marker, still a 1-goal game, anyone's game here, but Lebanon, you can see the momentum for them starting to shift a bit. They know that the pressure's on, and they're forcing a lot of these plays.
The pressure is on. It's Quinks trying to get that offensive role. This guy has been the one responsible for most of these offensive shots, and Buccaneers, with the kind of aerial supremacy that they've had, LHS really need to be up on their toes to make sure that the possession is maintained by them for most of the remaining half of this game. BHS still have that 1-goal lead, and LHS, it's Lebanon. You gotta realize that you gotta do something about it quick. Coast off the sidewall, looking to get this clear, which he does. Second touch comes through, but the 50's even better. Quinks in the air, hits the bar. Zombie couldn't make it through, but Buccaneers, they're knocking on the door for the second goal.
Minute 30 here, and Lebanon, they're driving the wrong way. Here's Ghost dashing, nearly tucked it into his own net, had to use his own post to get that one out of harm's way. But it buys Belleville so much time to now gather up those boost pads and make another press here as Quinn looking to find a touch at a boost, but it's a good feed. But a demo comes through. That's 2 times now that Sloth Knight has gotten a demo retreating, bailing out the defense by taking out the potential shooter. Sloth Knight's still up for this one. Zombie Slayer, no touch. Sloth Knight can't find one either, but everyone is here for the side of Lebanon. Now Zombie Slayer forks the ball away from one, still bouncing dangerously in front. Shot comes through, but Ghost Dash in gets a 3rd save this game.
Wow. Keep on coming in with this amazing defense. LHS, all you need is one good offensive play to get that overtime. But so far, with 30 seconds remaining, they are on the offensive side, but the pressure is breaking. Sloth Knight off the sidewall, pass down center. It's Mongoose, could not put power on it, but they're maintaining possession. It's not going to be enough. It doesn't seem to be the case. Midfield ball cleared away by BHS, and as the clock hits single digits, it seems like Buccaneers might be the one maintaining that 1-goal lead. Still on the sidewall, one final opportunity. It hits the corner. It's gonna drop onto the ground. Quinks keeps it up, trying to get the second touch. The demo is gonna make it so. Bucks 3-1 being the scoreline here. They take that best of 5 series win in a very competitive fashion. Look at the offensive supremacy coming in from Buccaneers. So impressive mechanics and amazing communication skills to just have that offense being shut down from the LHS side.
Lebanon was on defense for so long. You saw them get some chances late, but it was too little, too late. They couldn't find a way to solve that Belleville defense in time. And Belleville's offense just continuing to pile on shots. How many times did it take, a miraculous effort, it felt like, from Lebanon just to keep it close, just to make those goal line saves. Sloth Knight demoing the shooter at the last second before they can jump for that passing play. It was so close so many times, but Lebanon just unable to figure it out in the dying moments of that series. And Belleville got to be feeling confident after a win like this.
Oh, absolutely. Belleville getting that first best of 5 series win. I believe the second best of 5 series win. They did have one win in week number 2, the first actual win if we do not consider all the buys here. But a pretty good game. Some impressive mechanics being shown here. I believe we are going to be taking a bit of a short break before we are right back with the final game of the day. We still got one more best of 5 series here at 2 more games here at EGFH, correct? But I'll be back. We'll be back very soon. Let's just have a quick look at the schedule. Yep, there it is. 2 more games. Elizabeth Forward High School going up against Lake Wales, and then we have Lubbock going up against Byron Martin. So 2 more best of 5 series, a lot more Rocket League action waiting here. So we'll be back very soon. Stay tuned.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to EGF High School. My name is Soy. Joining me is Tiny Shiny this time around. Tiny, good to see you here on the mic. And are you ready for some high school Rocket League action?
We certainly are. We're glad that we actually get some of this in today. Might be a little later than usual, but you know what? It's okay. It happens. These teams, they were getting themselves prepared for the match so that they're able to get everybody in the lobby, make sure all the internet connections is just sorted out. But good news is we are here now for our week 3 matchups. It's going to be the Lugdock Boosters versus the BMATC Varsity Squad. Taking it on, and looking at just the history that we have with these teams, there isn't a whole lot going on. It is only week 3 of the season after all. BMATC Varsity, this is the very first match that they're playing of the entire EGF season to begin with. Not to mention that Lubdock, they've only played 1 match themselves, and for them it was a loss. So a lot of unpredictability heading in today.
Yeah, and Byron Martin in particular is a really interesting storyline because they are new to EGFH. They didn't play last split or last season, so we don't have a whole lot of kind of info on them. It'll be interesting to see what they can bring to the table in this pool. On the flip side of that, Lubbock, the boosters in general, last split, they had a fantastic regular season, fantastic pool play in the American Conference, but I believe their playoffs, they were pretty well set off for that playoff run overall. So we'll have to see how they do here. Again, still very early in the season, and I believe they got off to a decent start in the regular season, but we'll have to see how they perform here against really the unknown, the question mark of EGFH.
A true question mark, which could be both a good thing or a bad thing. If it's a team that hasn't played before, usually you expect that they don't have the same practice as you would in a league match, of course. There are some pressures that you're really going to feel when you're playing competitively on a stream versus when you're kind of just practicing on your own. So that's the one thing that Lubdock, they have at their advantage. They had a very solid previous season, and now as we begin our spring session, they're off to a bit of a rough start, but they're looking to turn that around here today as we are loaded in for our best of 5 series.
Lubbock will be in the orange half, and Byron Martin will be in the blue. It's going to be Byron Martin striking first. Your Taco K able to put in the first one here off the flick. The control they've got from the top of the box, they're able to get over top of 2 defenders there, and just 8 seconds into the match have the first goal.
And that is a statement right out of the gates, and showing that this team is not one to be under-respected. And I think moving forward, you have a goal in 10 seconds, you're like, all right, take a fresh breath. Second kickoff, make sure that you're keeping control of the ball, and don't let Taco K get in the same position once again.
The control here once more. Who's Jim goes up along the boards, grabs the boost, gets that next aerial touch to knock it away from the defender, and Taco K sweeping across there to find that touch inside the box to punch in goal number 2. It's an early 2-goal lead once more, as Byron Martin will try and stop the bleeding here with a clearing attempt. Skill issues will be able to move that ball away, but who's Jim to punch it right back down in, trying to make a play off this corner once more. But the boosters in the right place at the right time. Now, a chance around it once more, towards the net, off the post. Can they punch it in? Yes, they can. I think everyone was inside the box for that play, everyone getting a touch, but eventually it becomes 3-0.
I wanted to make sure it was a team effort, right? You put it up at 3, you got to get all 3 players involved, show that it's not just one player carrying the game, get everybody in. And hey, sometimes that's all you need. All of that full offensive pressure really put on. You could tell that the varsity team, they weren't able to get themselves back in time. Again, it's their time to recover. You're down 3 within the first minute. It's just important to keep your heads on your body and use that moving forwards as Taco K is reapproaching this net once again, Soy Sauce, and it's already not looking too hot as Jim gets that one right off the back. Nice setup to the center.
So much control here again off the corner from Taco K, and skill issues, they're right there, but they just can't quite find the touch on that ball to knock it away or disrupt that pass, and it's an easy follow-up for Who's Jim. And you can see right off the bat here, the defense for the Zoran side constantly on their own back third, constantly on their goal line. They've got to find a way to press out a bit and cut down on the space that's given, because right now, all that space that this team has offensively to work with, it just gives them so much advantage. There's a good cutoff, as that one will be on target. Taco K will be able to corral that ball back down. Once again along the boards, Taco K will pick up that side boost. He will get the ball challenged away from him. And this is what we like to see from the Orange side's defense.
We do. And Orange, they're starting to get a lot more of these clears that have been necessary to give them some breathing room, but at the same time, they lose that control, and it's just going right back into their net. Anytime they get the ball out of their net, it's instantly into the hands of one of the boosters' players, and we're just going to see this happen over and over again, Soy Sauce. We are seeing a little bit more space between these goals, if that says anything, but this defensively focused gameplay is just something that Byron Martin have not been able to work off of so far.
Yeah. Oh, and that one's going to roll in as well. Who's Jim with a brace here? 2 goals out of the 6 so far. They pick up the corner boost, and they're just so fast to the play. And you can tell, right, the defense, it's so close to being in the right spot. They're generally in the right position, but they just can't quite find that right angle to make that defensive play, to disrupt those offensive passes. And then the speed, the punishment that it brings to the table, right? They're just so quick to capitalize on the small errors. Even here, the backflip inside the box is good, but look at the shot nearly to the top corner. Weston's not going to be able to clear this ball out. Eventually, it will get forked to the side as Taco K recenters it almost immediately. It will be cleared out for the moment. So they dodge a bullet in that offensive stint, but still plenty of pressure being applied.
And it's going to continue so as Highschool makes another approach to that goal. A nice save to get one back down in the blue end. Weston wants to get the follow-up here, but just doesn't have that same boost to follow through that speed to get there. The padding was just slightly off, and we're going to see the same scenario. Who's Jim trying to get it off the top ropes? Will be denied away from the net for the time being. So sliding all the way back around as skill issue is pushing an aggressive advantage. Sees some sort of opening, and it was so close to getting in, just a little bit off target. And it's great, but here's the thing. Taco K gets themselves back control of the ball. Nice air dribble and an amazing block to come back, but Taco K's there for the follow-up, tapping it in once again.
Taco K, 4 goals this opening game, and still 2 minutes on the clock. Gotta feel good about their offensive performance. Is they're just able to chip that one in. And I think there's a little bit of panic, too, on the side of this defense, right? When you see this ball just constantly being thrown at you, there's this level of, okay, I've got to hustle back. I've got to get back to my net and make sure another one doesn't go in. But then you got to communicate with your teammates, right? So many players are everywhere all at once. You got to be able to figure out who's going for the ball next, keep that rotation clean, and then get that next clean touch. Too many panicky plays here have caused some unnecessary errors, and that's led partially to this 7-0 scoreline, as now you see the control coming through here. Maybe another play off the corner once more. Will kick down, and maybe a bump coming through, but no, gets cleared away once more. But there's just so much space for this team to work with. You even see the clears coming through from players like Skill Issue, just booming that ball down the field. But a hands possession right over to a beautiful shot to the far post. Look at the speed of this, 67 miles per hour, and no chance for the defender to get there. That's full speed for Skill Issues, and they just can't get there in time.
That's the thing. It's a speed game right now. Like you said before, Soy Sauce, it's the matter of the defense. They're beginning to panic. BMATC, they know that they're down 8 right now. It's not a good feeling to have. They're so focused on just chasing the ball down that they're losing track of where the rest of their players are positioned, and they don't even have the time to really react themselves. Meanwhile, on the other side, Lebanon, they've been cool as a cucumber, really, this entire time in the blue that they have. You're up 8 in a minute. It's really unrealistic to have to worry about losing it at this time. All it is just adding a couple more onto the board, get your opponents down, as we're going to get close to that next round shortly.
Decent clearing attempt there, but it's going to be blocked away. Once more back into the orange half, but the challenge just goes off target, and another goal here, a hat trick once more. 9-0 here in the opening score line. And I will say, this Lubbock Boosters squad that's up 9-0, we've seen this type of performance from them in the past under very different tags. So I'm not 100% sure if this is the same team that we saw last split or not, but this is a school that has been in EGFH before and has had very strong results, especially when it comes to pool play. So to see them get off to a start like this is not necessarily unsurprising, but to see it against a squad like Byron Martin with such a question mark, to see such a statement win from them early shows that the Boosters, it feels like they're back.
It sure does. I mean, you're putting this up. I know. It's just a matter of, can you get another one? Eventually that ball will hit the ground, concluding our first round in our best of 5 series. And yeah, that was really a statement made out of the gate here. The Boosters, they're coming off of last season, coming into this. They're experienced, they have the time, even if it's a different roster or not. You have the same people likely working behind the scenes to keep this team up and running. And however, the one thing that we do kind of want to look at here is, what is the thing that can bring Brian Martin back from the brink here? You're going into a fresh round. That's really your best shot. This is the closest that the score is going to be all game, is at the beginning of the round. You can guarantee it. Now, it's how you can get it off the gate. You cannot let these quick goals come off the kickoff. That's just something that's going to put you down, and it's affecting them. You can't let that affect you. Keep your own strength within to kind of be able to pull that one together. And I think, so you were talking about, just got to be mindful of the positioning where you're playing, that the team coordination just hasn't been there just yet. It could just be a warm-up. It was round number 1 after all. But looking forwards, a lot of things we were looking at.
And I think part of it is, that communication has to be on lock for the side of Byron Martin, as, wow, what an early start here from Who's Jim off the kickoff here. And look, this seems like a decent clearance, but look, it's right to Who's Jim. And then the control in the air to get back to that ball right as it touches the backboard to get that touch. Byron Martin again, they get that first clearing attempt, but you see all 3 members are either on the back wall or in their own net, just giving so much space to the Boosters in this game. And offenses will always thrive off of time and space, and the Boosters, they certainly know how to make great work of it. But look at this, getting aggressive here. The bump comes through, but it's Who's Jim making a clutch touch to get that one out of their own defensive zone. Finds another one to get that one all the way across the box. Weston trying to push forward here, but Taco K will stuff them out for the moment. Once again, ball in the orange corner. Moved it by one, still in a dangerous spot. All three members here, they will be able to flick it away. The boosters are still kind of looming, waiting at midfield. They might have an opportunity here. The demo comes through instead. They don't find the shot on target, and they'll be able to clear it away.
For the time being, this is already looking much better. Matic, they're giving up slightly less space. We're seeing them play more in that midfield range, but it's still pretty rare so that we're seeing them cross that center line. They're still playing so far back, and Taco K's happy to take advantage of it. Just takes it right over the heads. A nice dribble in the air from Jim, knocking it around the players. Taco K in position as always to get that follow-up. And that it's been a reoccurring pattern. We've seen the same thing happen just pretty consistently from LHS. And with them, they're taking advantage of everything that's being thrown at them. Matic, they're doing what they can, what they think is best is to defend, but you're giving the rest, your opponent, so much room to take. They have all of this boost in their control. They have the speed, they have the mobility that you simply cannot match because of the area you're choosing to play in.
There's something to be said, too, about the boosters' positioning, right? The fact that they're able to find each other on a couple of these passing plays and just kind of their ability to read the ball, read these 50s, even when Byron Martin and ATC are able to get a challenge, get a block at first. It feels like everywhere the ball goes, there is a boosters player waiting for that ball, ready to receive it and go for another challenge. And also the way that the boosters are attacking now, right? You see that they gather up possession, they control this ball, they've got so much space to work with, and then they force these really difficult plays. They go up to the air for these air dribbles, and it forces Byron Martin to use boost. So even when they don't, or even when they do get the challenge, then you have to find a way to get more boost in the tank, because all of a sudden here comes another player ready to go for another technical air dribble, and that forces that resource burn over time, making it even harder for this team to play defense.
And controlling those resources means that you have control of the tempo of the game. LHS, they got Matic in a chokehold at this point. They're just choking them dry of anything that they could hope to grab off of the boost, and it's just such a huge thing to be able to pull off. It's a great understanding to show, especially at the high school level of the game, and that these players, they're mechanically talented and also very intelligent. They have the game sense. They understand where they need to be positioned and how to really force the resources out of their opponents. And sometimes in Rocket League, that's just how the game ends up working. So, I mean, Taco has, of course, been a star player throughout all of this. Almost got another one in off of the top rope. That they've been responsible for a lot of the shots and a lot of the goals that we've seen so far. And it's rare that we're seeing Matic get even a touch off of it, because LHS, they're so darn good about keeping this ball just flying high in the sky, completely out of the reach that their boost-starved cars can't get.
So many key touches from Taco K, and having that reliable rotator like Taco K to find these touches pretty consistently in a match like this can really pay massive dividends in the long run here. Just knowing, the general positioning, having that good chemistry with your teammates of where to be certainly works out in the end, as the boosters, again, pretty solid control here in terms of time of possession, as they're going to go for an air dribble here. He get his flip reset, got a second one too, but still couldn't get too much off the back of it. Taco K now from the sidewall, flip reset over one. The defense ready this time around. Pinch over top of one defender for the boosters, but who's Jim? At midfield, stuffing out any attempt at a counterattack from Byron Martin here with 30 seconds left. Is only a 2-goal lead, but still feels like the boosters with solid possession here of game number 2.
Solid possession. We're heading into the final 20 seconds of this. Granted, this is a much better look from what we've seen from the varsity team. That is to say, though, LHS, they've been tripping it up a little bit, going for a lot more of these crazier plays than they were setting up with their team originally, but holding on to a lead, that's all you need to get it through. 1 point differential to close out the round. The ball still hovering in the air for a little bit longer, and there it will be, another win for the LHS squad, putting them up at match point in our week 3 matchup.
and looking solid at that, right? I mean, all three players seemingly just so mechanical and so good at making use of the space that they're given, finding those touches. I mean, all three of them, I think, were able to attempt a flip reset there to just show how much space that they have and how much control they have. And it's another thing too for Byron Martin, right? We talked about the resource burn, but sometimes you're able to work around it just by finding the open pockets, finding the gaps that the boosters are not able to cover. But even when Byron Martin get that big clear, even when they find that open pocket and they're able to kind of push out, they still haven't been able to generate that high quality chance offensively. And when you don't give your offense time to go to work, it's hard to solve this defense that is the Lubbock Boosters. They just continually are in the right place at the right time, but a bump comes through. So maybe a little bit of a chance here at offensive possession, but off that backboard, now who's Jim looking for the double tap? Had it too, but just too much power, came in too fast, and that one will go wide. And Blue Papyrus sends one on target. That one's off the crossbar. Byron Martin nearly finding one. Again, it's still in front, and it's going to get tapped in. Skill issue puts in the first one for ATC.
You can only withstand so much pressure on the net for so long, and it was just shot after shot fired into that net. And to be fair, it's been more than 10 seconds without a goal going through. We made it to 40 this time. That is a massive difference from what we've seen previously. But again, it goes back to the same idea. Because you have to be so focused on the defense, you're not able to play it as aggressive. And Bmatic, now that they're up in the point, get themselves one more, I have a feeling that they're going to be the ones that will start to play more defensive themselves. They'll just want to keep up the pressure just enough to make sure that the varsity team, they can't get back in. And there it is going to be another one for skill issue in this match. A much farther range off the shot, and not to mention, Soy, that they had 3 players on them that whole time.
Yeah, all 3 members up for Lubbock, and I mean, the Boosters playing with confidence, obviously, after the first 2 games, but they get a little bit too far ahead of themselves. The fact that 3 players are on 1 attacking member for Byron Martin, that is a big miscue for their defense. And one that Byron Martin will gladly take, as now they've got a 2-goal lead, but headed the other way are the Boosters. Taco K from distance cuts the lead in half.
Yep, that is another thing to get back up there. Taco K really needed to get that one off the back ropes. I don't think there's going to be any more screwing around here, but Bmatic, they still have a 1-point lead, and they're going to look to maintain it here. A lot of these kickoff, how are they going to bounce off? It's already going the way of LHS, and Taco K is there in the center to follow it up. Will be knocked back towards the midfield, where Heiso is gladly waiting to take it down. Centering themselves in the position. Who's Jim? A nice setup in the center, and Heiso will put it straight back into the net, tying it back up 2-2.
Isolate. Just be in the right place at the right time, and look at them. They're the 3rd man in on this rotation, and they just are parked right at Main Street, basically. It's a beautiful feed to set them up for that play, to tap that one in and make it a tied 2-2 scoreline, like you mentioned. And now you got to wonder how Byron Martin respond to this, having that 2-goal lead quickly disappear. It's a team that, again, this is their first game on stream. You got to see that resilience is going to be tested in a series like this to a squad that, again, is so used to having control offensively. As Who's Jim nearly finding a touch off the backboard. Isolale trying to make something happen. Off the corner once more. Dangerous in front, and it gets escorted in by the defense. That panic sets in, and it's 3-2 Lubbock.
And that could not have happened in a worse way. The varsity team, they had 2 players there, and they're the ones that got the last touch on it too. That's a terrible way to see the lead. It'll just slip out of your grasp. It's such a strong start, but they're losing the control that they established so close on, and it's just the gap. It's getting wider and wider.
And just so close to getting a read here on this ball. It's just a little bit of a miscue on the touch. They're just trying to send that one back into the corner and bank it out of their own defensive zone from the wall. But they get a little bit too far in front of it, ends up kicking up off the back, and it's a perfect cue up for that roll-in shot. Now Weston trying to clear that one, doesn't find the touch, and Isolale will be there to punish. That's 4 out of 5 in this game number 3 for them.
Isola's just coming alive here, having 80% of your team's goals on your side. That's just absolutely crazy. They were not happy about losing those initial points. They're like, no, I need to prove here that we are the stronger team and that they're gonna close it out a 3-0. It's far from over for them. They still have an opportunity at this time to come back, but you can't keep letting things like this happen because Taco K is just going to keep wedging that straight through. Oh, this is just brutal, Soy.
Passing play, it's the give and go. They find who's Jim on the outside lane. It's a feed right back down Main Street for Taco K. And 6 unanswered now. We still got half the game remaining, but this was, similar to what we saw from the Boosters last season, or in that fall split, was that their offense could just be lightning in a bottle at times. It's just seemingly out of nowhere. They come online and make plays, and even though you see a couple different tags, it is still Lubbock High School. It is still the Boosters, and they can still make plays as they're going to drop this pass down. Isolale will be able to turn around and keep this one in the orange half here. And now Byron Martin really struggling to find that clearing attempt here. Skill Issue's going to try and pinch this ball off the wall, but still, everyone for the Boosters kind of waiting at the midfield, laying down the trap, seeing if Byron Martin will bite.
Wanted to go in and bite, but you just can't. Look at that. Who's Jim just full sent it straight back into the back line, and Brian Martin, they have some control. They have a nice dribble down the midfield, but Taco K is easily able to contest this on the ground. And it will get back up to Heisel, taking it towards the orange defensive end. Blue Paris misses that touch, but thankfully we'll have another teammate there to save the day. As it'll be forced back down the mid. We're seeing a lot more of this neutral game as the time continues to dwindle down to a minute remaining. Still a 4-goal lead for LHS as they're looking to close this one out. And they're really just showing right here that this is where that they're strong. They weren't happy coming out into the first week of the spring split and going down on a match. They want to make that record even and even make it positive in the future. And, just holding out for another 45 seconds here is realistically all they need to do it.
Like high school last year, I think they were undefeated in pool play. So to go down in their first week here, and in Game 5 too, a heartbreaking loss in that series. The way that they've bounced back this week is Isolale showing up huge here in game number 3. This is the response that you're looking for out of the Boosters. 5 goals out of the 7 have come from this player. They are on fire this week.
Absolutely. It's just ridiculous that you're able to put so much into that game. And you're again, doing a 3-2 matchup is never a good feeling. You get so close, but the result, it just feels so far away from you. You lose that control that you really like to have. And this is a statement. This is a comeback. Those Tekkens come down. Taco K, nice reset. The top ropes will get pushed away, but it doesn't really even seem to matter as that ball has been cleared far out of the range. 5-goal lead for this one to be closed out as the Lubbock Boosters will be taking away today's series and get themselves tied up with a 1-1 record.
With a huge win this week to bounce back after that week 1 loss. And again, also, let's talk about game number 3, how they dropped the first 2 goals and then all of a sudden just turned on the Jets. And that is the magic that is the Boosters, right? It feels like this offense can just ignite that spark at any second, and they were able to do so here in that series clincher. They get the 3-0 sweep. They get the brooms out over Byron Martin, and we're going to cut to a short break. I believe we'll have an interview, maybe. We'll see. After that, we'll cut to a short break to see if that gets ready or not. Either way, we'll be right back. Hello, everyone, and welcome back to EGF High School. Unfortunately, no interview this week from the side of the Lubbock High School Boosters, but they did get the win this week, which they're going to be feeling confident about. So, unfortunately, we won't be able to hear from them. But that's going to be it for us here at official EGF High School. Tiny, any kind of words to kind of cap us off?
Thank you everybody for coming in to support these high school students as they are in their own esports junior of their own. Stay updated. We have several other games coming up for the remainder of the week, so make sure you follow the EGF High School channel to stay updated on any official broadcasts. And with that, Soy Sauce, it's been a pleasure to work with you this evening. Shout out to MI Blizzard behind the scenes as well, making it all come together, and we will catch you guys next week.